Gotta make sure things square. Hope everybody had an amazing weekend. Let me see. There we go. All right. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and get things started, y'all.
Recording in progress.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy ABK, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex and cryptocurrency analysis outlook, whichever way you want to call it. I appreciate y'all. First things first, before I get started, for those who are checking this out on YouTube, go ahead and drop a like for me. Make sure you're subscribed. We appreciate it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. First thing that I like to do when I do my analysis is check out what's going on the weekly. For throughout the week for fundamental analysis. Right now, I usually I'm not concerned about the numbers, like all these numbers that are here to the left. I'm not necessarily concerned about them when I'm doing my own analysis. I usually just like to look at it as, okay, these are the times where I can expect some unexpected big volatility to pop up in the market, right? So and I usually only focus on the high impact news, red folders, if you will. There's orange and yellow folders as well, which is medium and low impact news, respectively. But again, I don't even look at those. I just like looking at the high impact news because that's where the biggest chance of there being high volatility is. So we have 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, USD. Federal Chairman Powell is going to be speaking. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, we have GEP news, which is very late for GEP, but that's going to be Governor Bailey is going to be speaking. Then we have 7:30 a.m. USD PPI news, and we also have Powell speaking as well at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. In GBP, we also have Governor Bailey speaking, and Canadian dollar, which this is pretty late for Canadian dollar news. We have Governor Macklin speaking as well. 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday, we have CPI for US dollar. So this is what I'm going to be watching for mostly for the US dollar. PPI is cool and everything, but CPI, based off of past experience, I feel like it usually has more. It does a lot more. It brings a lot more volatility in the market rather than PPI. But that's just that doesn't mean that it's always like that. You know, things change all the time. And then 6:30 p.m. we have Australian dollar news with the employment change and unemployment rate. And then tentative, you definitely want to watch for this Treasury currency report. It's going to be happening. Tentative means that it can happen throughout the day at any time at random. So you want to watch out for that as well. And so with that being said, that is my fundamental analysis. You know, I'm just wanting to check out what's going to be happening throughout the week. But my focus is on these charts. So I'm going to go ahead and just start off fresh, brand new on all my charts. You know, I'm not even going to talk about, only thing I'm going to talk about is Bitcoin that I had talked about throughout the weekend. But other than that, I'm going to start off fresh off the charts, right? So make this full screen. And of course, if you have any questions, you guys don't be afraid to mention those questions in the chat. It definitely does me no harm answering you guys' questions, right? So first and foremost, I actually want to look at the monthly time frame because last week when I did my analysis, it was on October 31st, right? It was on Halloween. And so I didn't get that monthly close that I wanted to get on time, except for the next day. So I'm doing it today. And so with the DXY, with the US dollar, we can see that the monthly time frame is closed above the 50 EMA time frame, right? So that's something, number one, that I'm looking just off the top before I even enter my analysis. I usually like doing that 50 EMA. It's basically, for those who don't know, the 50 EMA is just basically the average between the last 50 candlesticks, and since we're on the monthly time frame, this is the average of the last 50 candlesticks that have been printed, right? So that's number one that I see. Number two, I do see that there are these there are these there's this resistance, or this zone actually. I won't even call it a zone because this is a monthly zone that we see on the monthly time frame. That if I extend it all the way to the left, we can see how valid it is all the way up to February back in 2015, where we have major resistance here. Then major support here. We have major support here. Well, in 1 month we had price go under, but you guys know what I'm saying, right? Like there's major resistance here, then price came back down, used it as support before it fell, then major resistance. So right now we're at this huge zone on the monthly time frame, basically, like throughout all the time frames. That's what on the weekly time frame price has been rejecting off of. I'm gonna draw out these horizontal lines so that I know that that's a big zone for me, because I want to actually, I'll just leave that there. I'll just leave the red box there. So this is something that I'm currently watching to see if it's going to continue going to the upside, right? I don't want to necessarily try to just sell off of this zone, although I do know there's a possibility of price dropping down below it. But I also do, I do expect the price to do maybe a type of fake out to the upside, because as you can see, there's equal highs right here. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't consider these equal highs, but these right here, I'm watching for this, that again, multiple, I know that there's a multiple traders that are trying to sell the DXY right here. When I go on to the lower time frames, I might be feeling the same way as well, right? Because on the weekly we have a doji candle right here, and that's pretty solid. So we're like, okay, there might be a potential trend change, right? And just like I was talking about those equal highs on the weekly time frame, when I come over here, and this is what I was saying last week, was that, oh, well, there's these equal highs right here that price has came up to, and right here it looks like this is just a liquidity grab to me, especially with this wick right here. So with me seeing that wick right there, I'm like, okay, either one of two things is going to happen with the dollar. So either A, it's going to really, it's going to fall from here on the weekly and it's going to just push to the downside, or I see there's multiple areas where I could possibly see the DXY coming down to, you know? I think, if I'm not mistaken, last week I was saying that I wanted the DXY to come down to 93.200 or 92.990, you know? It could also potentially come down even lower, 92.732, from this low of the bullish move to the high of, or where these equal highs are at, right? So price could have just easily grabbed that liquidity, because that's what it really looks like when you go onto the 4-hour time frame and lower. First of all, this daily candlestick, I would not try to buy off of a daily candlestick like that, personally speaking. But yeah, even going on to the 4-hour time frame, you see that price deliberately came just to these equal highs and then fell pretty hard right after. Like, once I see stuff like that, to me, it's kind of like, oh man, I don't think this is necessarily gonna go bullish at this time, you know? It just looks like to me that it's going to hold at those levels. And if I go back onto the daily time frame, I want to show this bullish flag that I've been mentioning. I was like, okay, there's this bullish flag. Price could just be, you know, well, that's not where I actually had the bullish flag at before. I had it right here, and then I also had it at these highs right here. So let me extend this a little bit, right? So we have this bullish flag here where price came momentarily out of that bullish flag and then came right back in the very next day with a very bullish engulfing candle. That right there I can't ignore, and I still really do feel that this could potentially keep going bullish. I don't want to necessarily try to hop in sells right now with the DXY, or try to hop in any type of buy, you know? Probably the only thing that would make me feel the most comfortable trying to get into trying to have a bullish DXY at this point in time would probably be something like this, where price comes down to 94.055 and then goes bullish from there or something like that. But even then, it doesn't seem like the wisest move to me, is because of what price has done to the with this possible liquidity grab, especially at this weekly zone. So that's something that I'm really paying attention to and watching for. I'm just like, do I want to risk trying to get into the buy right? Like if price, or do I want to risk having a DXY buying at 94.055, or there's a double bottom that happened right here, so that's pretty interesting as well. Or do I want to extend it where price really went bullish right here and wait for 93.663? That's what's going on in my head right now when I'm thinking about trading this DXY. So personally speaking, I think I'm gonna wait and see what price is gonna do, especially since the 4-hour is lining up with the 50 EMA on the 4-hour time frame. I'm gonna see what price is gonna do at 94.055, and then we potentially might be seeing price continue to the upside. Only thing is that and this is something that this is just based off of experience, right? When I usually see moves like this happen during NFP, like where it's like, oh, it looks like it's faking to the ups, it looks like it's faking to the upside, and then it ends up falling, I kind of usually sometimes feel like, okay, maybe that's exactly what the market is going to do. It's going to end up falling, especially based off of NFP news. But again, I don't usually pay attention to what the numbers are, because sometimes the numbers don't dictate where it's going to, a lot of times actually, if I feel like the numbers don't dictate where the market is going to go. So again, I want to see what 94.055 looks like before I try to get into any type of buys or anything like that for the DXY. So I'm going to add an alert. And it could very well just hold right here, because it could just be like a break, retest, hold right here, the continuation to the upside. I want to see, I'm more than certain it hit the 50% retracement on here. I'm more than certain it did. Let me see. Yeah, definitely hit that 50% Fibonacci, so it could definitely keep going from here. But again, that's not what I'm looking for. And just going to look at the opposite of what I just said. We could possibly see something like, from these highs, price retraces, and when price retraces, it's just gonna, hold on, let me get rid of this up here. Alright, and then so when price retraces, it could do something like, I'm going to go up to 94.498 or 94.500, and if price comes up here and holds, I might be like, okay, yeah, let's try to sell it, and then price ends up falling to the downside. That's what I'm really trying to see, if price is gonna also do that. The 50 EMA on the 1 hour, I'm not really gonna pay attention to it too much right now. But that's what I'm potentially seeing off technical analysis wise. So that's what I have for the DXY. Let me go on over to arbitrage real quick. And for those who do not know, this is an indicator that I personally use. And just to put it in short terms, I use it to help me buy and sell any type of stocks, any type of Forex pairs, crypto, anything like that. So just wanted to clarify that there is videos on the Next Wave YouTube channel that explain how I use these, but I'm just gonna be going through it real quick right now. So if you are interested in looking at the recording so you could better understand what the terms I'm going to use is, then don't be afraid to send me a message on Telegram or anything like that I could send you the link to that playlist so you could understand the terms if you need to. So basically, on the weekly and on the daily time frame, arbitrage is not looking bearish at all for the DXY. It's very much bullish. 4-hour time frame as well is pretty bullish. So even if price comes down a little bit and does that retracement like I was talking about, I still would be bearish, bullish on it. And this daily time frame, it looks good for, and if it does end up falling, that'd be even great for us, because that would be that retracement that I'm looking for before price goes, before price continues going bullish. But overall, I'm not trying to sell the DXY right now. Again, only way that I'd really try to sell it is if price came up to 0.71, the 0.71% up here, which I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave a markup there so that I can see, like, and this is something that I need to make sure that I say a lot more so that people understand how my charts look like. Whenever you see these the array with the dotted lines, those are areas that I'm looking for. Those are like exact price areas that I'm looking for to see what price is doing before me to get into a trade, right? Usually these lines, these thick lines that are like yellow, like darkish yellow, I wouldn't necessarily, that's just for my main zones, so that I know where the main zone is at. But the dash lines, those are where I'm looking for like precise and exact pricing. Well, not precise and exact necessarily, but that's like where I'm looking and seeing, okay, what is price doing here? Am I gonna get into a buy or am I gonna get into a sell? Right? So just wanted to establish that. So yeah, like I said, with the with arbitrage, there's nothing really here that is enticing me to try to get into a buy. I'd rather just wait for because price right now on the 1 hour time frame is under the RSI line. I'd rather just, as price is just looking like it's gonna do, just continue on to the downside. And so once price gets down over to like 94.036, or as we have over here, 94.057, that's where I'll be looking for, okay, is price gonna go bullish? And if it is, then I'm gonna be looking to get in there. So that's what I have for the DXY. Going over to Euro USD. So Euro USD, this was something that I was like, maybe this could be what's potentially happening. That didn't play out for the DXY, but let me not talk about that. Go on to the monthly time frame. DXY is basically the inverse of, Euro USD is basically the inverse of the DXY. So my analysis that I have for the DXY is basically the opposite for Euro USD. I'm looking for, I'm going to be looking for sales on the DXY. On EU. Price right now is currently under the 50 EMA on the monthly time frame. And I like the rejection that price did last month on that 50 EMA. Looking at the weekly time frame, there's this doji candle that I am seeing that's like, okay, that could be a potential reversal sign for EU right now. But as of like just right now, I'm just like, okay, right now price is currently at this zone where it can either A, hold, or B, it could just break through. Unlike the DXY where price had made like these, where these equal lows are right here, price was down here. The EU is a little different from it because it obviously has the influence of the euro on it as well. But we can still see that this is a solid zone. We have these, naturally, let me just put this a little lower because I can't like just ignore this right here. Like that's not smart on the weekly time frame, right? But we still have where price has used here as a resistance multiple times. We see here as it used as a support or resistance, support over there. So I'm tripping. Resistance all over here and then support over here. There's no support right here, but there is support down over here back in 2018. So again, this is just a major zone that we want to watch out for on the weekly time frame. Let me change this color. Okay, so daily time frame. This wick that I'm seeing to the downside is the same thing that I'm saying about is basically the same thing that I was saying about the DXY, right? I was saying that, oh, all I'm seeing right now is these equal lows, and I'm sorry if that's a little too hard to see for anybody. If it is, let me know. But all I'm seeing is these equal lows that price just ran through, and now price wants to go bullish. Like this looks to me, it looks like a hammer. This looks to me like it's a hammer, and it's gonna continue going bullish to the upside, based off of the daily time frame price action. So that's what I'm seeing. The volume isn't necessarily picked up over here or anything like that, but still, like, despite that, I still feel like that is a telltale sign, you know. 4-hour time frame, we have the bullish engulfing candle right there, so that's another telltale sign. Again, it's going to be basically the same thing how I feel with the DXY, right? If I see that price is going to retrace and come down to the likes of like 1.15289, wait, hold on, let me make this better, 1.15300, then I'm probably going to be looking to get into a buy. But again, it all depends on how it looks right there, right? This is going to be for like my bullish move, which this is, and again, where I didn't say it the first time, but this would be considered a counter trend trade to the max, because EU is currently on a downtrend. And if you try to get into a buy, then that means you're counter trend trading it. It's making, as you can see, it's made lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So it'll be considered a counter trend trade. And just going to the daily time frame as well, so you can see how much of a downtrend this is in. So as you can see, it's just making lower low. So that's one thing that I am definitely watching for, because technically speaking, on the weekly time frame, as long as it hasn't, I mean, it's broken through these structures right here, but this could be just like considered a lower high to all of this. So technically speaking, this is still in a downtrend, realistically speaking. But there's also like, oh, there's bullish, there could be a bullish sentiment if price chills right here, you know, at this big, let me turn this volume down for myself, at this big support. So that's what I'm watching for on the DXY. I mean on EU, the buys, the sells here, if I were to try to play them, I would want to see price come down a little bit more than where, if I want to try to get in the sell, I would want to see price come up a little higher, where it's like, okay, I'm coming up to 1.15863, and then boom, I'm gonna go make a lower low. That's what I'm looking for personally for the sells, and I'm more bearish on this than I am bullish. I don't want to try to get into a counter trend trade. Oh, what am I doing? I don't want to put that there. I want to put this line, and I'm gonna add a alert. So whichever one of these two really play out first, and depending on what the price action looks like at the time, like after a couple hours when price gets there, that'll be if I try to get into these trades or not. I mean, I could set limit orders, but I think I'd rather try to wait and see what's gonna happen. But I am way more bearish on this than I am bullish, so that's why I'm gonna leave this up like how it is. 30. No, I don't want to look at 30-minute time frame. I do, however, let me just add this. I do, however, know that this previous swing move, this previous move to the downside, that it never got a retracement up to the zones that I usually look for. So that's one major thing that I'm watching for. I'm like, okay, that's more confluence for this these equal lows down here that price just broke down to. You know, that's more confluence to say that this might be going bullish, because there's still 1.16465 or this zone up here that I could be that price could be coming up to. So that's something that I definitely want to mark off and put that as a supply zone. But overall, again, I am still wait, that is not actually correct. Sorry. it's supposed to be from that high to these lows. There we go. So that's something that I'm watching for, but nonetheless, I am still, again, I'm still pretty bearish on EU as of right now. So let's go over to arbitrage real quick. I don't know why I still have this trade up. I haven't been in EU in quite some time now, or not some time, because I got in it early last week and I got into, and it was a loss. But anyways, weekly time frame, same thing with arbitrage on the Euro USD side, right? It's very bearish, been calling for the sell for quite some time now. Daily time frame as well, very bearish. There's double bottoms over here. Again, we talked about that wick to the downside already. 4-hour time frame, still bearish. The only way that I would really try to get into this is if price broke out to the upside, retraced, and then continued to the upside. That would be the type of play that I would only that I would be able to get into the EU buy right now. Although yes, 1-hour time frame, that's basically what it's already done. I just would want it to come and keep going bullish, and then we end up looking for these sells once price comes back up to 1.15867, which lines up right with the upper danger zone. This gray area where this gray area right here where the mouse is at, that's where I'd want price to chill at before dropping to the downside. So that's for EU. AUD USD has been a trooper all week, right? So let's go on ahead, go over here. This trade played out very nicely last week. Never got a retracement though, so it's okay. But anyways, let's go ahead, and I'm not gonna delete everything on here because I am in a couple of trades that I need to talk about. Okay, so AUD USD weekly time frame. See a bearish engulfing candle. This looks like a evening star pattern right here, where price could potentially fall to the downside. Weekly time frame price is currently under the 50 EMA, so that's another thing that I'm watching for. And price again, it just fell nicely off of this sell box right here, and that's something that I always be like, yo, if that's something that happens, then maybe this bullish. I was in the swing buy on AUD USD, or it's more of a position buy down at 0.7287. Wait, where did I get in again at? Yeah, right here at 0.72032. Price still has quite a ways to go from there, but I took most of my profits up here, and I'm just letting this right at this point in time. So I mean, that's the main reason why I didn't want to delete that. But then I also mentioned last week on my analysis that I'm like, hey, there is this swing sell opportunity that we can get into. I mean, I got into this 2 weeks ago. It's been in drawdown for it was in drawdown, but all of last week basically it was in blue. Still hasn't really done anything, or not anything, but it still hasn't like moved to the downside, or hasn't moved to where I'm like, okay, my stop loss is going to be at break even. No sir, not yet. So what I'm watching for on AUD USD right now is it's pretty bearish right now. It's pretty bearish, but I do want to see a retracement. And the retracement that I want to see, and it's basically, I mean, same thing, guys. Like, we have this wick to the downside, just like how Euro USD and the DXY were showing. We have the wick to the downside right there. That could be potentially a stop hunt, and I'll show you the equal lows that was there. These lows, and then boom, price ended up taking those out. I mean, I could consider that as well right there, but still, so price might very well might have just taken out those equal lows, and for it to go bullish right here would be nice, because what I want to see overall is, I don't know if I want to get it from all the way to those highs, but still, I kind of do. You know what? No, I'm going to stick to right here first, from where price really fell. So I would want to see price come up to 0.74828 for me to be looking for, just additional sell entries for my trade, right? I'm already, again, this sell is already in play for the swing, but it's a swing, so why not be patient and wait for price to come back up so we can get a second entry, so we can capitalize off that. That's what my mindset is like right now. So if price does indeed come back up to these highs, or it's basically above my entry or even close to my entry, then I might add additional positions. And what I would do is I'd set my stop loss above these highs, and if my stop loss got hit above those highs, then my swing trade that the stop loss is way above over here. Where is it? Yeah, the stop loss is way above over here at 0.76355. I'd probably be like, okay, price is probably going to end up going to hit my stop loss, so let me get out of my trade, and instead of losing the whole, like, if I'm risking 2% on the account for that trade, instead of me losing the whole 2%, I'm going to lose 1% instead, so I'm able to preserve my capital, right? So that's something that I'm going to be watching out for when it comes to AUD/USD. If it keeps falling, absolutely, let it keep falling. I have absolutely no problems with that because I'm making money off of it. If it comes bullish up to 0.74828 and it shows me that price action that it's going to keep falling, then on my buy that I'm in, I get out of that buy and I'm like, all right, this was a successful trade. I ended up making money. I didn't lose any, and I get into a second entry for the sell and I try to get into the sell. It's just, it sounds complicated, but as long as you practice and make sure that you know what you're talking about, or you practice and make sure that your strategy is profitable, then hey, play it out, right? So that's for AUD/USD. I do see this on the small time frames. I'm talking about like on a 15-30 minute time frame for potential buy entries. That if price does something like this, where it comes back down to like 0.73700, then I might try to get into like an intraday buy. Let me see. Yeah, like 0.73759 would be something that I'm like, oh, well, this might be a potential intraday buy that I could get into. Cause I like this. I like that it broke through these because it did break through these lower highs on the 30-minute time frame or on the 15-minute, whatever time frame you want to play it off of. So I'm gonna see what price does if it gets down there. If it does, I'll try to get into a buy. Put my stop loss below that wick, and if I get stopped out, price is just gonna keep going to the downside on my swing, and that's totally fine. I know why I'll be losing, right? All right, so going over to arbitrage, going over to the weekly time frame. AUD/USD has been rejecting off of the RSI line, which is pretty awesome, and it's also under the mean line here. So I do expect, based off of arbitrage, I do expect AUD/USD to keep falling to the downside. I expect it to keep going bearish. It is currently above the momentum line, this red line right here. So that's something that I'm like, let's see what happens. Nothing too crazy. Daily time frame, it's rejected off of the RSI line. That looks like it might be trying to go bullish, but that weekly time frame is something, again, I'm watching for more than the daily. 4-hour time frame, very bearish. Not even setting up for a possible buy yet, so there's my answer for that. And the 1-hour time frame is calling for a buy off of the market open. I don't necessarily like trying to. I wouldn't want to try to get into this buy right here. If price goes bullish, oh, that's cool, absolutely. I would want it to go bullish a little bit. We want price to go up to, well, pretty damn high at 0.74842. So arbitrage necessarily for AUD USD, I wouldn't necessarily try to get in anything on it right now. It looks like, for me personally at least, it looks like it's just going to end up coming down to like 0.73759. And again, if price holds at that zone, then I might look to buy. But it's kind of a riskier buy because it is very bearish, just like how with Euro USD it's very bearish. But overall, I like AUD USD. All right, so let's go on over to UCHF. Before I continue, let me get some water. Drink water, y'all. All right, so USD chef, I had talked about this buy opportunity. I had sent it out. I had talked about it last week on Friday, and I still feel the same way, even though this weekly time frame, it doesn't look the greatest. I'm actually gonna remove all drawings. Wait, hold on. Before I do that, let me not remove all drawings. Let me actually hide that with my take profit lines. Okay, so now I'm able to do this much better. Let me actually make sure. I did delete them. Huh, that's funny. I didn't mean to delete everything. Okay. I actually could delete that fib because I don't need it. But it's alright. Alright. Sorry it took forever. So, UCHF, right? I had been talking about how this supply zone, price ended up holding, and UCHF ended up falling to the downside. We weren't able to capitalize off the sell. It's okay because I am still bullish on this. It rejected off there really nicely though. Still can potentially come down to 0.90530. I'm not taking away that pricing or that area whatsoever. So I actually am going to leave an alert there, swing wise, because again, I'm not like taking that away. Like price can definitely come back down and hit here and then continue going bullish. But what I am currently feeling and seeing right now, that from this, because off of the weekly time frame, we've been playing off. I've been playing off of these buys and talking about these buys for weeks now, where price broke through this structure, which was the lower high, then made a high. So this is the low, this is the high, this is the low, this is the higher low. Price has not made a higher high yet, so it's not really confirmed that price is bullish. But you know, overall, I'm really still feeling this buy. Yeah, that is a clean move, huh? I agree with that. But yeah, so overall, I have called a buy on UCHF swing wise from this low of 0.90184 to the high of 93668. I have a buy here that I'm like, okay, this doesn't look like a terrible buy at all. Let me delete this right here. This doesn't look like a terrible buy by any means necessary. This looks like a very good buy for me. In fact, I want to try to like take this to the upside and make higher highs with this longer term, right? So that's what I've been looking at for UCHF or these past couple of weeks. But when I look at this monthly time frame, when I look at not even but hold on, I did not mean I'll bring it back right now. But looking at this monthly, it kind of is like, oh whoa. It kind of looks like how this monthly candle right here looks like, and then price ended up making another month where it went bearish. So that's something that I'm really watching for with UCHF. I still do like the buys nonetheless, that daily time frame, however, the way how it looks, that does not look to me as if price wants to go bullish. That looks like price wants to keep going bearish, and right now the 50 EMA is currently above pricing, so those aren't necessarily bullish signs that are telling me that, okay, yes, you want to get into this trade, right? Price has been dropping pretty steadily off of that supply zone, and again, I do know that the potential for price to come down to 0.90500 exists. Even lower than that, price can still, like, I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Price can still potentially from, well, it's already done that, right? That's exactly why I'm like, okay, well, we've been playing off the buys for a while now. From those lows to these highs, you see that price came to the 71%, went bullish, came to the 23.6, and then dropped. So, like I said, I'm really feeling confident for the buys for UCHF nonetheless, but the price action is the only thing that's making me not so confident. It's like, So, still gonna hold this, and if I do end up taking the loss, then that'll be a lesson. It was like, pay attention to the market structure. You know what I mean, it's just like, things that I've already talked about. Like, I've already seen the reason why I would lose the trade. So there's that for UCHF. Let's go over to arbitrage real quick. Monthly time frame. Well, monthly time frame is, I don't even know why I'm looking at it on arbitrage. Cause like I've already told myself, like, last 2 weeks ago, that there's no reason for me to look at the monthly time frame for any of these pairs. So weekly time frame, price is currently under the RSI line, so that's something that I'm definitely intrigued. This black line right here, price is currently under that, so I'm like, okay, this can potentially mean that this is going to go bearish. It is holding above the mean line, so that's something cool and everything, but again, I got to watch out for that. Daily time frame, been very bearish, and it's currently under the lower danger zone, so that's something, again, I'm not really excited to see for a potential buy. Price a call for this buy. I thought that it was going to retrace, but that 4-hour time frame candle, it looks deadly. So this is my thing. If you are in that swing trade, and I like how this 1 hour is holding right here. My thing is, I still feel like this is going to go bullish, but potentially, if price does end up going any lower than like 0.91020 or something like that, or 0.9100, I'm probably, or even lower than 0.90823, I probably will end up getting out of the swing trade and waiting for a better position. Maybe. Not sure about that quite yet, but overall, I am still bullish on USDCHF. I like the buy opportunities, and so that's how I'm gonna stick to them. All right, USD Mexican, man. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about this beautiful potential buy that we have coming to us in our favor, right? So first and foremost, this is from the swing trade that I called on both. I had talked about this live. I talked about this in the Next Wave chat. I talked about, and this is a signal I called out to those on DeFi domination. Same thing with arbitrage, right? Price had gone bullish, 670 pips. That was very nice. Taking 2 take profits. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide those. What I'm wanting to see right now is if price is gonna hold after coming back to these equal highs, and looking like it just stopped out a whole bunch of people, and then it's gonna come down, retrace back up before it falls some more, right? That's what I'm currently watching for. Right now, price is at my 71% fib, so trying to get a second entry off of USD Mexican right now, I'm not gonna lie to you, it does seem like a good idea to me. I still like the bullish movement for USD Mexican. However, it's these bearish engulfing candles that I'm seeing that are making me be like, no, thank you for the buys, right? Those are the only things that I'm kind of like, whatever for. But nonetheless, trying to get an entry right here for USD Mexican and trying to take it to make these higher highs, like where these targets are. I kind of like that, I'm actually feeling it pretty hard. If you want to be risky, or not if you want to be risky, if you want to be safer about it, I'm not totally against putting your stop loss where that first entry's at. I'm not against it by any means, right? Just to be safer though, you might want to extend that stop loss, and then again risk wisely, 1 to 2% of your account. That is a 289 pip, basically 290 pip stop loss where I have price currently at. Or again, you can move it to, you can have it right there where it's 144 pips. But again, it's like the opportunity for price to still go and like go down there, stop out those buys, and then keep going bullish. It does exist because overall, the buy box again is still there. So that's one thing that I'm watching for on USD Mexican. I'm most likely going to have my stop loss right here. And if it gets broken through, I might try to get it back in later. Or I'm just like, you know what? Let's just leave it there and see what the rest of the market is going to do. Because, again, this could have just been a liquidity grab. Let me just go into the 4-hour time frame and speak my piece. And then I'll leave USD Mexican alone. But, yeah, so this could have just been the same thing as I usually say, liquidity grab. Where it's like, I'm going to grab some money right here, drop hard. Once I see stuff like that, it's kind of like, oh, depending on how this retraces, if it comes up to like 20.77414, where that's the 23.6, if price goes up there and it's like stalling, acting as if it doesn't want to keep falling, then I'm definitely going to be like, okay, this is the play I'm looking for on USD Mexican. Where it'd be like, oh, go bullish, fall down, retracement, continuation to the downside. Overall, long term, right? That's what I'd be looking for on something that if USD Mexican was going to go bearish. I mean, it could fall from where it's at right now as well and just keep going bearish. But, that's my analysis on tacos. Going over to arbitrage. So yeah, arbitrage, like I mentioned, this was a play that I mentioned, and I said I was taking partials up here a while back, like not even a while back, like last weekish basically. Go ahead and delete everything off of there because it's the exact same buy. Weekly time frame, it's still very much above the RSI line, and it's been a while since arbitrage had called a buy on the weekly, so I'm still feeling that those weekly buys nonetheless. Daily time frame, it is under the RSI line right now, that black line, so that's something that I'm going to be paying attention to. Daily time frame could be potentially trying to get a sell-in. It can just go a little bit more bullish and then end up falling, just like I mentioned with technical analysis, so that's something that I'm watching for. 4-hour time frame has been extremely bearish. Oh, this was a beautiful play. I wish I would have seen this, where it just dropped, retraced up to the RSI line and upper danger zone, basically did a bear flag and then fell again. Like, that would have been a nice sell. But yeah, overall, that 1-hour time frame, the sell is overextended, I promise you. Yeah, sell from right there, overextended. So overall, I want to see what USD Mexican is going to do at this level. Again, the daily time frame is kind of saying that don't get in this trade, right? That's what the daily time frame is like. Oh, don't try to get into this buy. But I'm going to go ahead and risk it for the biscuit. If you don't take risks, you're not going to be able to get the reward. So I'm definitely like this USD Mexican buy. I'm still going to have the swing play out. If you're on the analysis and you check it out, then you got the sauce. I'm not going to send it out on any type of I'm not gonna send out any type of signal or trade idea for it. So there is that. For gold, I want to take a look at gold. And actually, you know what? No, I'm not even gonna go too crazy on gold because I had already gone crazy on it on Friday's analysis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. This was a loss that I had taken, 185 pips. Leave that there. Close that off. All right. So I had already mentioned that I have 3 different feelings for gold, right? I had mentioned that. So I've already drawn out that there's these equal lows down here that I feel like there's just liquidity waiting to get grabbed for gold. Then I also mentioned as well that there's these equal highs up here between 1835 and 1825, where same thing can happen, right? Price can just get some liquidity grab to the upside and then ends up going to 1846, which is the 71% retracement from the high of 1916 all the way down to 1679. No, it's not. It's a little lower. 1677, right? So price has already made it's already came to the 61.8% and then came to the 23.6 fib, which is like, again, that's a place where I'm always like, okay, right here is where price could potentially turn around. Just based off of how the daily time frame, and I'll look at the weekly and monthly as well once I'm done talking about this, so we can see what the price action is looking like on those time frames. This looks like to me that is going to end up going to 1846, like just off of how price was behaving on Friday, right? That's what it really looks like to me that is going to end up doing. 1847, 1846 is going to get that retracement. Ultimately, what I really wanted to see was just from the high of where these equal highs are at to the low of 1721. Price is going to come into the sell box. That's why I have 1802.150 marked off there. I was thinking that it was going to keep falling, but again, based off of how the daily time frame looks right now, this looks to me like it's going to keep going bullish. So that's something that I'm watching for. I think did I get into the trade? I don't think I got into it. This is a hypothetical trade that I had given, and I'm just like, I'm gonna wait and see how NFP does. Or actually, no, I said I was gonna get into this, but I was gonna get into it with low lots. That's what I had mentioned. Yeah. So with gold, again, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky with it right now. This isn't something that I would say hop in right this moment. I'd rather wait to see what the next couple of days will do before trying to get into this buy. But overall, 1846, it kind of looks like it's loading, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what definitely happens. But I'm still gonna hold that bias. So let's see what happens with gold. Let me go on over to the monthly time frame. Remove all the drawings so we can see better. Last month, it looked like price wanted to continue falling, but not by that much. Then on the weekly time frame, bullish engulfing candle on the weekly. Those equal highs, man. It's those equal highs. They're very visible. Very visible. So that's something that, again, I'm really gonna watch out for. Very visible. Okay, going back over, or going on to, before I continue, sorry, let me go on over to arbitrage and see what gold is talking about over here. So, what time is it too? Man, I'm doing a little. Okay, monthly time frame. Don't really see gold selling on the monthly quite soon. Weekly time frame, prices above the RSI line. So for sells, that's a warning sign. Quite honestly, then the weekly looks actually pretty terrible. Daily time frame has been very bullish. I don't know why I tried to sell when I could have saw this last week. Could have prevented us to getting now. 4-hour time frame, same thing. Looks very bullish. So yeah, gold is basically very bullish. It's kind of hard to try to sell it right now. But market structure wise, again, I think 1846, 1847 is going to get hit sooner than later. S&P US indices built to buy, making higher highs. I have nothing to say. I really don't have anything to say with these US indices, except that they're making higher highs. I'm waiting for retracements before I try to get into any type of trade opportunities. This had hit break even. This was a trade I was reviewing. But yeah, these things are built to buy. If I would have been actively trading this, I would have been like, oh well, boom, here's the buying opportunity right here off of the 71%, off of the Dow Jones and S&P. I mean, right now the way how they look for the S&P, it doesn't look terrible for a buy. Quite honestly, these things are built to buy. I mean, all they're doing right now is making higher highs and higher lows. This doesn't look bad for a buy opportunity, honestly. But that's all I'm gonna like really speak on for the S&Ps and US indices. I'm not really looking to sell them until I see what Tuesday brings us. Bitcoin, baby, let's go. Oh man, this was an amazing buy. So for those who are in all the chats, I had mentioned, yo, this isn't something that I'm gonna talk about. I'm not gonna send out in the signal, but I was like, yo, price looks like it's gonna go bullish. Demolish this little supply zone right here. And I was saying that either price is going to go bullish from here, or it's going to come up to where it stalled out a little bit and go bearish. This thing is doing numbers, man. 4,833 pips. That's fire. So, I mean, there we have it. Bitcoin is about to make all-time highs again. Let me actually see. Yeah, it's getting close to where my TP3 would be, where I'd be taking all my profits up at 66,143. But yeah, this was a fire Bitcoin play, and I'm pretty sure all the cryptos are doing the same thing. I haven't looked at Ethereum, but I have a feeling that it is taking off, and it's probably making higher highs itself. So I mean, I don't have really that much to say about Bitcoin, quite honestly. XRP, yeah, doing the same thing, doing the digital dash to the upside. I think I have a little bit more to say about Ripple than I do on Bitcoin. Or, you know, let me see something. I really do not expect Bitcoin to hold here. Let me go on to the daily time frame though. Yeah, if prices already surpassed the previous all-time high, yeah, I expect this to keep going to the upside. Going over to Ripple. Ripple, I would love for it to finally break through this. So from this high to this low, it's currently at the 71% fib, and this is a zone that it's been really struggling to break through for the past couple of weeks now, right? I would love for it to keep going bullish from here. If it goes, it can go bearish from here. Like, it's at my 71% fib that I definitely don't want it to hold at, because I want this to continue going bullish. I want Ripple to continue making higher highs so that it can finally go up and like reach those all-time highs. But again, that's only something that we could be hopeful for and wait and see. Bitcoin is leading the way as per usual, so all we can be like is, hey, Ripple, are you going to follow in its steps, or what's going to happen? But for now, it looks like this is going to keep going to the upside, in my opinion, for sure. And Ethereum, I basically said, oh yeah, same thing as with, this is what I said last week, same thing with Bitcoin, that when the DIX makes that retracement, it's probably going to end up making higher highs, which is doing it, breaking retest off of the zone. And so yeah, that's for the cryptos, man. Like, these things are, those bad boys are going bullish. I'm really glad that this Bitcoin trade is playing out very nicely. So that's for the cryptos. GBP, USD. I had mentioned last week that on all the chats, or not all the chats, but I'm like in the chats that I am frequent, and I'm like, yo, make sure that we that you take partial profits. Prices move down 370 pips. It can potentially, based off of how, like I said, based off of how that news was looking, it can potentially turn around from here. Oops, I pressed stop share. Give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. So, like I mentioned, I said that price could potentially turn around and go bullish here, so you might want to take some partial profits. I do still expect, however, GBP USD to continue falling. Let me go ahead and hide all this. I don't need that anymore. Equal lows, TP3 and TP4. I don't need TP4 to be there. Hide that. Okay, so weekly time frame, we can see price has been very much bearish. Last week it finally, like, it gave us a really bearish candle that was like, okay, this is definitely giving me continuation to the downside vibes. I remember when price got up here that I was like, okay, price, if it doesn't fall from here, then it's gonna end up just continue making higher highs. I expect GU to keep falling nonetheless, based off of that weekly candle. On the monthly time frame, yeah, even on the monthly, I like how it's looking. It is currently above the 50 EMA, so we can't have a lot of struggling here. I didn't even know that it was above the 50 EMA right there. So that's good intuition on my hand, saying that, okay, let's scale the trade, let's take partials right here instead of waiting for these equal lows to actually get touched. So nonetheless, I really got to see how this market plays out. I really got to see how GU plays out. I do see the possibility, no, because I mean, at this point in time, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people who are saying, oh, this could be a potential head and shoulders, or we have the left. Ooh, let me just get the tool. Or we have the left shoulder, then we have the head, and then we have the right shoulder right here. Like, I'm pretty sure there's people who might be looking at that and say, oh, this looks like an opportunity. Yeah, it can, right? But honestly speaking, I'd rather just not try to play with GU. I just don't like the fact that it never broke through at least these lower highs right here. So probably something like this would be what I would want to see, because came up a little bit, breakout, bullish retracement, continuation. That'd be something that I'd probably want to see if I were to try to get into a buy opportunity for GU. But I'm not even looking for buy opportunities right now, so I'm just like, let's see what the market's gonna do first before I try to get into anything. I'd rather sell it than buy it. Quite honestly, I'd rather sell when price is like probably up at 1.3600 or something like that, rather than trying to buy it right where it's at, or even a little lower than that. GU on arbitrage, I promise you, is very bearish, except for maybe the 1 hour. Daily time frame is barely what to call a sell today, but it's irrelevant. Weekly time frame, very bearish. This is another reason why I was still pretty adamant on the sells for GU. So yeah, 1 hour time frame, maybe setting up for a buy. Yep, I thought so. Setting up for a possible buy, but I'm not so crazy about the buys right here. So arbitrage users, If you would like, by all means, go ahead. Just make sure you have your alert set. But I'm not feeling these buys right now, quite honestly. That's just how I feel about GU right now. So, going over to GA. I had called out this trade on Friday. I'm like, okay, I like this GA idea. I have been waiting for price to it made these lows. It had broken down to the downside off of these equal lows right here, which also happens to be at the 71% for this fib, which I love that entry for any type of trade, whether if it's an intraday or a swing. But breaking below these equal lows right here, price definitely did that. Then it broke out. Go on to the 4-hour time frame just so you guys can see it. Broke through these lower highs right here, and then it retraced. Right here is where I'm really looking for this to go bullish. That's what that's how I'm feeling for this GA. I really want it to go bullish right here and hit those targets. That's my trade setup. I've been really it's just especially since GA has been selling so hardcore since it hit the supply zone. Like, I expected it to hit all its targets, but I didn't expect it to hit it that fast. Like, came up, it didn't even hit my 71%, which I'm still low-key mad about. I'm just playing, not that mad. And then ended up hitting all the targets, came exactly to that TP4, and then turned around. So that's even very interesting for me to see. So regardless, again, I want to see GA go bullish from here. It's currently not that many pips up in profit. It's about to be at that 61.8% fib. I always say that anywhere in these three lines is a good entry for a potential trade. Just make sure that once price gets to the 23.6, that your stop loss is at break even. So right now, price is just up about 20 pips, so nothing too crazy on GA. But I definitely do like these buys. Arbitrage, going on to the weekly time frame. Don't really, we have GA is looking for sell. It's probably going to be looking for sells in the next couple of weeks, probably like 2 to 3 weeks. So that's something to watch out for. For us, that's definitely something to watch out for. Daily time frame, very far away from calling a buy as well. It's currently at the second deviation, so that's nothing really exciting to see when you're looking for buys. The sells have not been called yet on GA, the 4-hour time frame, but depending on the next couple of hours, that could change very shortly as well, right? So daily time frame, it's looking like it wants to set up for a buy, but it's not quite there yet. It's kind of like this type of play would be the best for GA. But other than that, guys, I'm still gonna be in this buy. I like the setup. I like how it took out those equal lows, broke out to the upside, and then retraced pretty nicely. So I'm definitely gonna stay in these buys on GA right here. I like it. Okay. GBP JPY, this thing fell pretty hard, right? So we're gonna go ahead and remove all drawings, go on to the monthly time frame. Very bullish month last month with GBP JPY, but this is something that I had said, and just me looking at that monthly and how it closed, I kind of still stand by it. I was saying that there's these equal highs right here that price can just go and grab that liquidity, then push to the downside, and that's what it looks. That's what it still looks like to me. You know, like it really still looks like to me that that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what we're gonna be seeing on GBP JPY. So got the very bearish weekly time frame with these two candlesticks. These are the two candlesticks that was really telling me that, okay, these looks like this is going to fall, and it ended up doing it exactly as said. One thing, though, is that this is an area where we can watch for price to continue going bullish, right? From the low of 148 879 to the high of 158.214. Price can still come down to 151.650 and go bullish, right? We can still expect that type of play to happen because overall on the weekly time frame, GJ has been very bullish. Like for the past how many years? Well, not for, I mean, for the past how many years it's been on this bull run? Since 2020, beginning of 2020, March. That's when it's been really on this bull run. So definitely trying to look for sales long term. It's kind of counter trend trading, if you will. Daily time frame. What I'm going to be looking out for potential sells if they do occur is naturally from the high to the low of wherever price stops at, because it looks like to me that price might have left a gap. Yeah, there's definitely a gap down here. This is where the market opened. I'd want to see price climb up back all the way up to 156.675. That in my head is the most safest place for me to look for sells on GBP/JPY right now. So there's nothing really for me shorter term that I'm looking for. It's just either one of these plays, and even the buys down here, that if they play out, I mean, if price comes down to buy, I'm not going to be necessarily looking, because again, those equal highs that I saw just got taken out, and then price falling like this, those are signs to me that are saying that GJ might be trying to turn around, right? So that's on GJ. EG, I don't know why this is on. EG, basically opposite of what we were talking about. I know Payne had talked about a buy last week on EG, and that played out very nicely. I think he'll talk about it on his analysis that he does. So overall, same as I was saying with EG. There's one and two, not even one as I was saying, but this is my dilemma when it comes to EG right now, right? From those highs to these lows right here, prices came to this area where it could definitely look to retrace, right? It could definitely look to be like, okay, I'm gonna turn around and continue going bearish to make lower lows. EG has definitely been in a downtrend. There's absolutely nobody that can tell me that EG has been in an uptrend. It's been in a very massive downtrend, and it's been selling for so long. But the way how I'm seeing these daily candlesticks, we haven't seen these type of daily candlesticks in a while where they're bullish like this, you know. Friday's candle wasn't the best looking for EG buys. But what I would want to see ultimately here right now is just on a higher time frame, I want to see the retracement, you know. It's like, okay, price, if you're going to stop here, I want to see how you're going to retrace down, and if you're going to retrace back down to 0.84585. And if you retrace down there and it looks good, then I'm going to look to take you and buy you to the higher highs, right? So that's what I'm looking for on this EG long term, and I mean that looks pretty solid to me, because I was saying that, okay, since price came down and took out these equal lows, what I wanted to see was something like this, where it's a fake out, breakout, retracement, continuation. I'm glad we finally got the breakout to the upside. Now I want to see that retracement before I continue taking it to the upside. So that's what I have for EG, right? Not really gonna focus too much on EG this week. Maybe if I can find some lower time frame plays, then maybe I'll be like, oh, this is like a solid intraday move or something like that. But overall, like I said, I want to see EG end up pushing to the downside. Weekly time frame, it's barely above. This is the first time, and this candle, it has 4 days and 21 hours to close. But this is the first time that EG has been above the RSI line on the weekly time frame for arbitrage in very long. So again, ties might be changing, but if I were to try to get into a buy, I'd wait a little bit. Daily time frame, it hasn't called for the buy yet, which is kind of weird. It should probably by the end of today, depending on how the candlestick looks. 4-hour time frame, very bullish, which I'm pretty sure the 1-hour time frame is most likely trying to set up for a sell. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, this it's only probably gonna be momentarily, but this looks very bullish to me. And again, I'd probably just want to get this retracement before price continues going bullish. Might not even get the retracement down to 84.600. It might just come to like 0.85 100 and then go bullish or something. But nonetheless, that's what I'm going to be looking for on Euro GBP. So with that being said, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Those are my pairs that I look at on a daily basis. Those are my pairs that I trade. Are there any questions that anybody wants to ask before I hop off? I appreciate y'all for hopping on, by the way. All right, Daniel, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and unmute you real quick so that you can go ahead and ask. All right, if you want, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, Daniel.
Awesome, Abdul. Thank you. Great training tonight. I appreciate it. Very, very easy to understand the flow of what you're doing. When you guys send out signals and we open those trades, you're at some point gonna send an update saying take partial profits, raise the stop loss.
Yep.
How do we know which time frame, like how do we know the style that you guys are using in regards to a trade, so we can be kind of looking for that next alert to come out?
So what do you mean by the style? Do you mean like, oh, what type of trade that we're sending out, what type of trade it is?
Like if you send out a Euro USD tomorrow morning when the New York market opens, and we open the trade, how do we know if that's going to be an intraday trade or if it's going to be something that's longer term?
That is. Oh, we'll usually have it written down that, oh, this is like if it's an intraday trade, then that will be something that we expect to run for like maybe 5 hours to maybe a full day. Or if we say it's a day trade, it might take a day or 3. We usually will write it down what type of trade it is, like if it's an intraday day or if it's a swing trade or anything like that.
Okay, cool, thanks.
All right, and for the update for the app, we'll try to see if we can have like a limit increase of how many characters we can put per every signal that we send out. So if we can, then we can put an average duration of how long we think the trade might take.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, so but that's a good question. That's a great question. And I see here that somebody wants me to go over AUD CAD. Sure thing. I'll go ahead and take a look at it real quick for you. It's not a pair I usually trade, but I'll go ahead and take a look at it nonetheless. Remove drawings. He said that he's trading on the 15-minute in a buy, but I'm afraid price is going to drop. So let's go ahead and go on to the 15-minute time frame and see what we have. So currently this is a very interesting candle right here. That's probably from the market open. Yeah, market open candle basically. For the 15-minute time frame, right now for AUD CAD, I like how it looks like that this just took out equal lows right here. Here, I can make this a little smaller. I like how this looks like it just broke through equal lows. And so now what I would personally look for on the 15-minute time frame, if I was trading it, is for price to come back down to like 0.91900, and then I will look to take price to the upside. That's just me off of looking at the 15-minute time frame and looking towards the left a little bit. I haven't looked at the weekly or the daily or anything like that, but that's what I'm just seeing right here. Let me go ahead and take a look at those now. So weekly time frame, I can't ignore the fact that price is under the 50 EMA, and it's been under there for a couple of weeks now. That bearish engulfing candle right here, I'm not necessarily a fan of seeing that either, but I do like that there was 3 white soldiers, basically three bullish candles in a row that were pretty, like, it's not engulfing, but they're pretty solid candles as well. So that's the one thing that I see. Going on to the daily time frame, going from this low, I mean, I'm gonna just play off of this price where price really started going bullish. From this low of 0.91661 to the high of 0.93369, I like where price is currently at in the fib area. It's currently in this 0.9200 fib zone, where there's basically the 78.6, and with that wick to the downside, I'm not against the buys. I'm really still not against the buys. I like the buys. If anything, I'd probably, if I were to try to get into a buy, I'd probably place it below below this fib, so like 0.91750 or 0.91740 might be good. I do know, however, that the possibility for price to just come down and still come to like 0.91720 or anything like that exists, which isn't bad. You know, price attempted to get down there with that wick, but it didn't necessarily get all the way down there. But so that's what I'm saying. Like, overall, I think that price can definitely go bullish on ACAD. It looks pretty solid, but I just will be alert for the fact that price can still come down to 0.91700 or 0.91550. So I hope that helped you out with your AUD-CAD analysis, or AUD-CAD possible trade. Again, I think that waiting for 0.91900 might be the best play. And so yeah. Oh, another question: do you generally chart eval with price action and then look between those markets for the head and shoulders, cup and handle, etc.? Yeah, definitely. I definitely do. I definitely do evaluate with price action and then look between those two yeah, absolutely. I actually kind of do it the other way around, where I'll look for the market structure, and then after that I'll look at the price action. So if I see that this is giving me a head and shoulders type of trade, then I'm gonna look at the price action, like what the candles is talking about, and then I'll be like, okay, this is what the candles are saying. Awesome, they look pretty decent to me. Let's take the trade. So, all right, and no problem. All right, guys. Well, if that's the case, thank you for hopping onto my analysis. I appreciate it. Recording will be posted up in the next wave chat. It's gonna be up on YouTube, and it's definitely gonna be posted up on the DeFi Domination app for like in the next hour or two. No problem. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate y'all.